Opening scene. The story begins at Galactic Station 7, a massive trading hub where representatives from the galaxy's major powers conduct business. The station buzzes with activity as ships from the Red Empire, the Crystal Coalition, and the Iron Federation dock and depart. These three ancient civilizations have ruled the galaxy for thousands of years, maintaining a careful balance of power through military might and political maneuvering. The human arrival. Commander Vex of the Red Empire notices something unusual on his tactical display. A small, unremarkable ship requesting docking permission. The ship identifies itself as being from Earth, a name no one recognizes. The vessel looks primitive compared to the sleek warships of the major powers, built from simple metal alloys with basic energy shields. First contact. The human delegation is led by Captain Stone, a middle-aged officer with calm eyes and steady hands. He's accompanied by Engineer Fox and Diplomat Lane. They request a meeting with the station's governing council, claiming to represent a new spacefaring civilization that wishes to join galactic society. The mockery. The major powers' representatives barely hide their amusement. Admiral Rex of the Crystal Coalition examines the humans' technology reports and laughs openly. Their ships are slower than civilian transports. Their weapons are kinetic projectiles instead of energy beams, and their largest vessel is smaller than a standard escort frigate. The territorial claims. Captain Stone presents a star chart showing human-controlled space, a small cluster of systems on the galaxy's outer rim. The territory is modest, containing only a few dozen worlds. General Kane of the Iron Federation dismisses it as empty space that the major powers never bothered to claim because it lacks valuable resources. The warning ignored. Captain Stone politely requests that the major powers respect human territorial boundaries and avoid military exercises in their space. The request is met with barely contained laughter. Admiral Rex explains that the galaxy operates on strength. The strong rule, the weak serve. If humanity wants respect, they need to prove they can take it. A demonstration. To prove their point, General Kane announces that the Iron Federation will conduct training exercises in human space next month. Captain Stone's expression doesn't change, but Engineer Fox whispers something urgent in his ear. Stone simply nods and thanks the council for their time. The human response. As the human delegation prepares to leave, Captain Stone makes one final statement that puzzles everyone present. He says that humanity has always believed in peace through strength, and that they hope the major powers will reconsider their position. When pressed about what this means, Stone simply smiles and says they'll understand soon enough. The departure. The human ship undocks and heads back toward their territory. Station sensors track its departure, noting its slow speed and primitive design. Intelligence Chief Bite of the Crystal Coalition files a routine report classifying humanity as a negligible threat and recommending they be ignored unless they interfere with major power operations. The mystery signal. As Part 1 ends, deep space monitoring stations across the galaxy detect an unusual energy signature from human space. The signal is brief, but incredibly powerful, far beyond anything their primitive technology should be capable of producing. When the major powers investigate, they find nothing unusual, dismissing it as a sensor malfunction. The buildup. Unknown to the galactic powers, Captain Stone's visit was never about negotiation. It was reconnaissance. As his ship travels home, Engineer Fox analyzes all the data they gathered about the major powers' technology, fleet compositions, and military doctrines. The humans now know exactly what they're facing. Ending hook. The final scene shows Captain Stone arriving at a massive construction facility hidden in an asteroid field deep within human space. The facility dwarfs anything the major powers have ever built, and at its center, nearly complete, is something that will change the galaxy forever. A warship so large it makes the flagship vessels of ancient empires look like Shuttlecraft. The exercise begins. 1 month later, General Kane leads a fleet of 50 Iron Federation warships into human space for their training exercise. The fleet includes the pride of their navy, the battleship Iron Fist, equipped with plasma cannons capable of cracking planets and shields that have never been breached in battle. The human response. As the Iron Federation fleet crosses into human territory, they're met by a small patrol group of 6 human ships. The vessels look even more primitive up close. Hull plating shows wear from space debris, and their communication arrays are decades behind galactic standards. The human commander, Captain Rock, politely requests that the Iron Federation fleet turn back. The confrontation. General Kane's response is swift and brutal. He orders his fleet to disable the human ships as a demonstration of power. The Iron Federation vessels open fire with restraint, using low-powered shots meant to cripple rather than destroy. The human patrol ships are overwhelmed in minutes, their simple shields collapsing under the assault. The message sent. With the human patrol defeated but still alive, General Kane broadcasts a message throughout human space. He explains that this is what happens when primitive civilizations challenge their betters. The Iron Federation will continue their exercises until humanity acknowledges their proper place in the galactic hierarchy. The human world's reaction. Across human space, colonies and stations receive the broadcast. But instead of the panic or submission General Kane expects, the response is eerily calm. Civilian traffic continues normally, mining operations proceed on schedule, and communication networks show no signs of military mobilization. It's as if humanity is completely unconcerned by the show of force. The Deep Scan Science Officer, Gear aboard the Iron Fist, conducts detailed scans of the human worlds. What he finds confuses him. Massive industrial complexes hidden in asteroid belts, energy readings that don't match known human technology, and construction projects on a scale that seems impossible for such a young civilization. The investigation. General Kane decides to investigate personally. He takes a small task force to examine the largest human world, New Earth. From orbit, the planet looks normal. Cities, farms, and spaceports like any other colony world. But deep scans reveal extensive underground facilities and power plants that dwarf anything the Iron Federation has seen. The warning signs. Admiral Cross of the Human Defense Fleet meets the Iron Federation task force in orbit. Her ship is the same primitive design as the others, but she carries herself with the confidence of someone who holds all the cards. When General Kane demands an explanation for the hidden facilities, she simply says they're infrastructure projects. The demonstration preparation, unknown to the Iron Federation. Their entire fleet is being watched. Every ship movement, every communication, and every tactical formation is recorded by hidden human sensor networks throughout the system. The data is transmitted to a classified facility where human strategists analyze their enemies. Capabilities down to the smallest detail dot the real power. Director Wolf, the human military's top strategist, reviews the intelligence from a command bunker deep beneath New Earth. The Iron Federation fleet is powerful, but their tactics are predictable. Their formations are centuries old, and their commanders are overconfident. Everything is proceeding exactly as humanity planned. The psychological profile. Human analysts have studied the major powers for months through intercepted communications and diplomatic interactions. The Iron Federation values direct confrontation and overwhelming force. The Crystal Coalition prefers precision strikes and technological superiority. The Red Empire relies on speed and numbers. All three share one critical weakness. They've never faced an enemy who understood their tactics better than they understood themselves. The final preparations. As General Kane's fleet settles into orbit around New Earth, believing they've cowed humanity into submission, Massive hidden facilities across human space come online. Power grids that have been building charge for months reach critical capacity. Construction yards that have worked in secret for years complete their final preparations. The signal. Deep in the asteroid fields of the outer system, the massive construction facility receives a coded transmission from Director Wolf. The message is simple. Project Titan is approved. Begin final deployment. Inside the facility, technicians who have worked in secrecy for years finally see their creation begin to move. Ending. Hook. Part 2 ends with General Kane preparing to broadcast another ultimatum to humanity, confident that his show of force has broken their spirit. But his communications officer detects something impossible on long-range sensors. A massive object moving toward their position at incredible speed. The signature is larger than anything in their databases, and it's coming from the heart of human space. The detection. Communications Officer Net, aboard the Iron Fist, stares at his sensor display in disbelief. The contact is massive, easily 10 times larger than their biggest battleship, and moving at speeds that should be impossible for something its size. General Kane dismisses the reading as a sensor malfunction, but backup systems confirm the impossible. Something enormous is approaching their fleet. The revelation. As the massive object draws closer, its true nature becomes clear. It's a warship, but unlike anything in the galactic databases. The vessel stretches over 15 kilometers, from bow to stern, its hull bristling with weapon emplacements that dwarf the main guns of conventional battleships. The ship's design is uniquely human, angular, and functional, built for war rather than elegance. The arrival. The human Titan warship, Thunderstrike, drops out of faster-than-light travel just outside the Iron Federation fleet's formation. Its arrival creates massive gravitational distortions that set off every alarm on every ship in the system. The sheer mass of the vessel is so great that it briefly disrupts local spacetime, causing navigation computers across the Iron Federation fleet to recalibrate. The first response. General Kane's first instinct is to attack. He orders his fleet to open fire on the massive human vessel, believing that concentrated fire from 50 warships can destroy any single target. The Iron Federation fleet unleashes everything they have: plasma cannons, quantum torpedoes, and graviton beams designed to crack planetoids. The shield test. The human ship's defensive systems activate automatically. Massive shield generators create overlapping energy barriers around the Titan warship's hull. The Iron Federation's concentrated firepower, enough to level continents, strikes the shields and simply dissipates. The Thunderstrike doesn't even slow down, continuing its approach as if the fleet's weapons are nothing more than spotlights. The counterattack. Captain Stark of the Thunderstrike opens communication channels to the Iron Federation fleet. His voice is calm as he explains that humanity gave them fair warning to leave their space peacefully. Since they chose aggression instead, they'll receive a demonstration of why that was a mistake. The weapon systems. The Titan warship's main batteries come online, massive, kinetic accelerators that launch projectiles at significant fractions of light speed. Each round carries more destructive force than the Iron Federation's biggest missiles, and the ship carries thousands of them. Secondary weapons include particle beam arrays, gravity cannons, and defensive systems that can swat fighter squadrons like insects. Demonstration. Captain Stark targets the Iron Federation's most powerful warship after the Iron Fist, the heavy cruiser Iron Hammer. A single shot from the Titan's main gun strikes the cruiser dead center. The kinetic impact passes through the ship's shields as if they don't exist and tears the vessel in half. The destruction is so complete that debris barely remains. The shock. The Iron Federation fleet reacts with panic and disbelief. Their most advanced shields and armor, perfected over centuries of warfare, proved useless against human weapons. General Kane realizes that humanity hasn't been hiding because they're weak. They've been hiding because they're preparing for war on a scale the galaxy has never seen. The technology gap. Science officer. Gear frantically scans the human Titan, trying to understand its technology. The readings make no sense. The ship's power output exceeds anything in their theoretical databases. Its hull materials are unknown composites that seem to absorb energy attacks, and its weapon systems operate on principles that shouldn't be possible. The human philosophy. Through communication intercepts, the Iron Federation begins to understand human military doctrine. Where the major powers build fleets of moderately powerful ships, humanity has built smaller numbers of overwhelmingly powerful vessels. Each Titan warship can engage entire fleets and win. It's not just a different approach to warfare, it's a revolution in military thinking. The strategic implications. Director Wolf, monitoring the battle from his command bunker, explains to his staff why the Titan concept works. The major powers spread their resources across hundreds of ships and thousands of systems. Humanity concentrated their entire military-industrial capacity on building a small number of vessels so powerful that traditional fleet tactics become meaningless. The retreat. General Kane, faced with the destruction of his most powerful ships by an enemy he can't even damage, makes the only rational choice: retreat. The Iron Federation fleet disengages and flees human space, their pride shattered and their understanding of galactic power dynamics forever changed. Ending hook. As the Iron Federation fleet retreats, Captain Stark receives new orders from human command. Long-range sensors have detected Crystal Coalition and Red Empire fleets mobilizing in response to news of the Titan warship. Humanity's secret is out, and the galaxy's major powers are preparing for war. The news spreads. Within hours of the Iron Federation's retreat, news of humanity's Titan warship spreads across the galaxy. Admiral Rex of the Crystal Coalition receives detailed reports from Iron Federation survivors, while Emperor Vale of the Red Empire reviews sensor recordings that seem impossible. The primitive humans have built a warship that makes their ancient flagships look like toys. The Emergency Summit. For the first time in centuries, the three major powers call an emergency summit. The meeting takes place aboard the neutral station Harmony Point, where the galaxy's most powerful leaders gather to address an unprecedented threat. The discussion is tense as each power realizes that their military supremacy is no longer guaranteed. The analysis. Strategic Analyst Corps of the Crystal Coalition presents a detailed assessment of the human Titan. The ship's technology incorporates principles that their best scientists consider theoretical impossibilities. Its construction requires industrial capabilities that dwarf anything the major powers possess. Most disturbing of all, intelligence suggests that the Thunderstrike is not unique. Humanity has built multiple Titan warships. The power shift. The summit discussions reveal how dramatically the galactic balance has changed. The major powers built their dominance on controlling hundreds of systems with fleets of thousands of ships. Humanity has achieved equivalent military power with a handful of vessels hidden in a few dozen remote worlds. Their entire civilization has become a military-industrial complex focused on building weapons of unprecedented scale. The different approaches. Each major power proposes a different response to the human threat. Emperor Vale wants immediate military action, a combined fleet attack before humanity can deploy more Titans. Admiral Rex suggests technological espionage and counter-development programs. General Kane, humbled by his defeat, argues for diplomatic engagement and possible alliance. The intelligence war. Spy Master Shade of the Red Empire reports on covert operations in human space. Every attempt at infiltration has failed. Human security is absolute, and their counterintelligence capabilities are surprisingly sophisticated. The major powers realize they know almost nothing about humanity's true capabilities or intentions. The human response. Director Wolf addresses the galactic community through a carefully orchestrated broadcast. He explains that humanity has no territorial ambitions beyond their current borders and no desire for conquest. However, they will defend their sovereignty with whatever force is necessary. The message is diplomatic, but contains an unmistakable threat. The Titan fleet. As if to emphasize Director Wolf's point, long-range sensors across the galaxy detect multiple massive signatures moving throughout human space. Intelligence analysis suggests humanity has built at least 6 Titan warships, possibly more. Each vessel represents firepower equivalent to an entire traditional battle fleet. The economic impact. Trade Minister Gold reports on the economic implications of humanity's military revelation. Raw material prices are skyrocketing as the major powers rush to upgrade their fleets. Shipyards are operating at maximum capacity, trying to design vessels capable of challenging human titans. The galactic economy is shifting from peacetime trade to wartime production. The technological revolution. Human Titan technology represents a paradigm shift in military engineering. Instead of spreading defensive systems across multiple ships, humanity has concentrated them into mobile fortresses. Instead of relying on numbers, they've achieved victory through overwhelming individual unit capability. It's not just a new type of warship, it's a completely different philosophy of warfare. The smaller powers. Representatives from minor civilizations watch the power struggle with growing alarm. Ambassador Bright of the Peaceful Worlds Alliance realizes that if war breaks out between the major powers and humanity, smaller civilizations will be caught in the crossfire. Some begin reaching out to humanity diplomatically, hoping to avoid being trampled by giants. The military buildup. Across the galaxy, the major powers begin crash military programs. The Crystal Coalition starts developing new shield technologies. The Red Empire focuses on faster, more maneuverable ships. The Iron Federation begins work on larger guns and stronger armor. All 3 powers are trying to find ways to counter humanity's titans. Hidden strength. What the major powers don't understand is that humanity's titans are just the visible portion of their military capability. Hidden throughout human space are manufacturing facilities, research stations, and resource extraction operations that dwarf anything the galaxy has seen. Humanity has transformed their entire civilization into a machine for producing military power. The diplomatic channels. Ambassador Peace of the Crystal Coalition attempts to open formal negotiations with humanity. The talks are polite but reveal nothing about human intentions or capabilities. Captain Stone, now revealed as humanity's chief diplomatic officer, maintains that they seek only to be left alone to develop in peace. Ending hook. Part 4 ends with reports of massive fleet movements from all 3 major powers converging on the borders of human space. Despite diplomatic efforts, it appears that war is inevitable. The galaxy holds its breath as the greatest military confrontation in recorded history approaches. Asterisk. The final confrontation. The combined fleets of all 3 major powers mass at the edge of human space. Over 1,000 warships representing the accumulated military might of civilizations that have ruled the galaxy for millennia. Emperor Vale, Admiral Rex, and General Kane command the largest battle fleet in galactic history, determined to crush humanity before their Titan technology can spread. The human response. Humanity's answer to this overwhelming force is simple and terrifying. 6 Titan warships emerge from human space in perfect formation. Thunderstrike, Starbreaker, Voidhammer, Doomfist, Ironwall, and Endgame. Each vessel is a mobile fortress capable of engaging hundreds of conventional ships. Together, they represent a concentration of firepower that the galaxy has never seen. The Battle of New Frontier. The confrontation takes place in the neutral system of New Frontier, chosen because its destruction won't harm civilian populations. The major powers attack with everything they have, coordinated strikes from 3 different tactical doctrines. weapons that have conquered star systems, and formations perfected over centuries of warfare. The Titan response. The human Titans respond with devastating efficiency. Their weapon systems, designed to engage multiple targets simultaneously, tear through the Allied fleet formations. Captain Stark of the Thunderstrike coordinates the battle with cold precision, while Captain Stone aboard the Starbreaker demonstrates why humanity spent years studying their enemy's tactics. A technology demonstration. The battle reveals the full extent of human technological advancement. Titan shields don't just stop enemy fire. They absorb and redirect energy attacks back at their sources. Titan weapons don't just destroy ships. They use gravitational manipulation to disable entire squadrons simultaneously. Most shocking of all, Titan ships can repair battle damage in real time using self-replicating nanotechnology. The turning point. Admiral Rex realizes that conventional tactics are useless against the Titans and orders a desperate all-out assault on a single human ship. 300 Crystal Coalition vessels focus their fire on the Voidhammer, pouring enough energy to vaporize moons into its shields. The Titan ship absorbs the attack, stores the energy, and releases it as a single devastating pulse that destroys half the attacking force. The moment of truth. General Kane, watching his allies being systematically destroyed, makes a critical decision. Instead of continuing a hopeless battle, he opens communication channels to Captain Stone and formally requests terms for surrender. The Iron Federation, bloodied but not broken, chooses survival over pride. The negotiation. The ceasefire negotiations are conducted with the smoking wreckage of hundreds of ships drifting between the two fleets. Director Wolf, speaking for humanity, offers surprisingly moderate terms. And major powers will acknowledge human territorial sovereignty, establish formal diplomatic relations, and agree to technology sharing arrangements. In exchange, humanity will not expand beyond their current borders and will help defend the galaxy against external threats. The new balance. Emperor Vale, facing the complete destruction of his fleet if fighting continues, reluctantly agrees to the terms. Admiral Rex, her forces reduced to a fraction of their former strength, recognizes that the age of unchallenged major power dominance is over. The galaxy now has 4 major powers instead of 3, and the newest one has proven itself the strongest. The aftermath. In the months following the Battle of New Frontier, the galactic political landscape undergoes dramatic changes. Smaller civilizations that had been subject to major power dominance begin asserting their independence. Trade routes shift as worlds seek to establish relationships with humanity. The balance of power that had existed for millennia is permanently shattered. The human victory. Humanity achieves something unprecedented in galactic history. They force recognition as equals without seeking conquest. Their Titan warships patrol the borders of human space, a constant reminder that military supremacy now requires more than just numbers and tradition. The young civilization has become the galaxy's newest superpower through strength, innovation, and strategic thinking. The technology exchange. As promised, humanity begins sharing selected technologies with the major powers. Medical advances, industrial techniques, and defensive systems help strengthen the galaxy against future threats. However, Titan warship construction remains a closely guarded human secret, ensuring their military advantage continues. The galactic peace. The new 4-power balance creates an unprecedented period of stability. No single civilization can dominate the others, forcing cooperation and diplomacy. Conflicts that might have led to war are resolved through negotiation, with humanity's Titans serving as a deterrent to aggression. The final message. The story concludes with Captain Stone addressing the galactic community from the bridge of the Thunderstrike. He explains that humanity never wanted war. They built Titans to ensure peace. Sometimes, he notes, the best way to avoid a fight is to make sure you can win it decisively if one becomes necessary. Ending. The galaxy has learned that when humans build something, they build it to last. And when they build for war, they change the rules forever.